Good morning. L. William 12, philosopher, life consultant. I just want to touch a little bit on life other than uh, Donald Trump, all these other things in the news. That when I'm really thinking about, excuse me, life and things, it seemed to me the most important thing of all that is really being neglected is life itself. Uh, there are levels, two levels of existence. Now, because let's keep in mind, because a person believes one way and someone else believes another way, it doesn't make your way the way or the other person's way the way. It simply means that your way is your way. And when you choose that way, whatever comes along that way, that's what you get. That's what you have put your life into. And that's what experiences is all about. That's what progress is about. People that come before you, they experience things through a certain path, and they should pass that path on, the goods and or should I say the pros and cons of that path to the next generation, and be honest about it. But see, what we are reaping today, we're reaping the benefits of a few that have surrounded themselves or indulged in greed and selfishness, and what we see now happening is the end results of it, and we refuse to accept the consequences, or we refuse to accept that we are the cause. When you see people running around or just saying that one person is better than another because of skin color, everything that happens to people in this earth is adaptation based on the universe, and based on your inner selves having or developing or should I say developing what is necessary in order for you to keep life alive. And in other words, the image in the mind makes the conditions. So we do that, and we do it unconsciously. This is called survival. That the world is looking out for its own. And we are focusing on, when you live in this physical world, a physical world based on your thoughts and what enters into your mind, manifests physical things with physical reactions. But let's not forget now, the adaptation is, excuse me, it's based on that entity within us, that soul, that life force that's in us, created this body machine so it can live and develop. And you say, develop for what? Develop for regeneration, transformation, you see. And what we have to realize is, well, you don't have to realize it, but I think what you should give some thought to is the fact that we're in a sense where we are all being controlled. Whether you realize it or not, whether you want to accept it or not, doesn't matter. If you sit down long enough to start thinking, why do you act the way you act? Think about it. Why you look the way you look. Start asking questions about things. And the only time you get answers is when you ask questions, not just exist. You know, a long time ago, when I was a kid, things didn't make sense to me. I felt as though, not only me, but humans, we were so much better capable of doing what we were doing with the results that we were getting. We was losing. We was losing. And we're still losing to this very day. I see people put their whole life, they disassociate themselves from their family, from living, from money and having things and indulging with relationships. I see things on the news now every day. People that's supposed to be role models, sitting back, selling things to 80 years old, selling things so they can maintain an erection to have sex. At some point, people, it's time to give that up, to slide some things to the door. And furthermore, we as human beings, we should have better control over our lives, but we do not. Not just sex, which is the most powerful attraction there is between male and female, but we have succumbed to sugar, to sodas, ice cream, things, you know, and we have took our life and just set it aside until you realize how important it is at an age when your body start deteriorating, and now you're looking this place and that place, trying to find a cure for the things that you have allowed over time to destroy you, your mind and body. And then it's too late, you see. So it seems to me that the most important thing, which is life, should be on the front burner. And that is to live as long as you can, to develop the purpose of life. Because frankly speaking, the body, just think this for a second, the body, when you cut yourself, the body can automatically heal itself. So what does that tell you? That tells you right there, you were not born to die. If you were born to die, when you cut yourself, you would bleed to death. You know, you see people spend their whole life accumulating so much wealth. It doesn't keep it from dying. It doesn't keep the body from deteriorating. On their deathbed, I'm sure they will gladly give it all away just to live and spend more time with their families, or go back and undo the things that they did, that they thought was important at the time. This world should be a blissful world. But because of greed, untruths, selfishness, we live in a world that we don't know if we're going to be alive today or tomorrow. We live in a world where people shoot old people on the street, on the bus, walking. Every time you walk out your house, you don't know if you're going to be killed by some stranger or somebody. You don't know that. We should not have to be living like this. But this is what happens when you give it up. When you give it up and you keep these things on your mind, because whatever you keep on your mind becomes manifested over time. Just think about it. You know, and when you think about things, once you develop your mind and understand how things work, you know, when you think about things, you make things happen, whether you realize it or not. You know, you do. It happens to me all the time now that I'm working on it. I know how things work. I watch how I think, man, because you cause these things to happen, believe it or not. Like in the old sayings, there's truth to these things. You reap what you sow. There's truth to these things. You don't believe it because you don't exist on that level. You know, we should not be as weak as we are, humans. Every mineral that's in the earth is in us. We are composed of trillions of atoms. There's enough energy, there's enough energy in one single atom. If that energy was properly released, could destroy a large building. You know, that is what's meant by, you know, having faith is the size of a mustard seed. You can say to yonder mountain, move, and that mountain would move. That doesn't mean a physical mountain. What we are talking about, everything that we're talking about, is pertaining to the human body and the human development. You talk about mountains, you're talking about tumors in the body that you can